All right, y'all, man. Welcome to another episode of Grade School Media. I'm your host, Tony Ray. I got a special guest in the building. I was saying his name wrong before, but this is a special guest to me. Before I introduce his name, this episode is special to me because I just got to give y'all a backstory real quick. I moved I came to LA for the first time in like 2016, 2017, and I got a phone call from my friend out here, and he was like, "Yo, I got an opportunity for you at Disney. Can you do it? I know you want to be an actor." And I was just like, "What? Yeah, I'll do it." But at the time I was a promoter, and so had other stuff going on. I had artists that I had just found that, they're doing their thing now, but this is how it went. So I tell my homie at the time, I'm like, "Yo, I got this gig with Disney. After I come back, I'm gonna go do this Disney thing. We're gonna take off, and then when I come back, we're gonna do this, and do that with the artists. You know, and then my man's called me back, and he like, "Yo, I need you to. Can you do this? Like, I don't need you to mess up my Disney plug." And I'm like, "I got you." He like, "Send me your flight and let me know you're really coming." So I did that. I pull up, and it was a real dope experience. And I'm gonna just introduce the guest first. Cody Veith. How you doing, man?
Doing good. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I was saying your name wrong too. Cody Veith is what but he just put me on game before we started. But I had to tell that first little bit of the story because the Disney opportunity that I got was a show you were on, Walk the Brink.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's just start from the beginning, man. We're gonna get into that. But the first part that I wanted to continue with is like, yo, 10 years later, from me starting this radio career to now, it's been so much. You have ups and downs in this game. Sometimes you winning, sometimes you losing. And when I came to pursue this opportunity in Los Angeles, I had things that I had was putting in place in North Carolina, and maybe a few people might have ran off with the idea, or maybe got nervous, or he going to LA, he might leave us behind. Let me just take his ideas, and my ideas work. And sometimes when you're young, you don't know how to process that. You're like, man, I'm doing this over here, but they're taking my ideas over here, and it's just like, man, like. But now it comes full circle. I'm able to sit down with someone that actually was on the TV show that I was on Disney, and we can have a real conversation. So I appreciate you.
I got you, man.
And look, so let's start. This is how I start my interviews. I jump right into it. So where were you born and raised?
I was born in Florida, but I was mainly raised in Vegas.
What part of Florida?
Panama City. So I think the left side, near the Panhandle.
Okay. So from you being born there, what was your time being? How long were you there as a kid?
I think I was in Florida till I was about. It was either 2 or 5, but then we moved to Alaska because my dad was military.
Okay.
So, but we drove all the way from Florida to Alaska, and we had to drive through Canada. Oh my God, it took 12 days, I think.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Nuts.
So life growing up, it's not really so much you remember Florida. It's probably like Alaska, huh?
Yeah, Alaska was cool, but I spent a lot of time in Vegas. I was in Alaska from I was I think it was 5, from 5 to 7, and then from 7 to now I was in Vegas. So.
Okay. So from them ages, just talk about your childhood, growing up, I guess before acting, what were some of the things you were involved in as a kid, or has acting always been a part of your life?
Good question. I love it, man. Yeah, acting, it wasn't always a part of my life. I started acting when I was 9.
Okay.
Everything before I was 9 was all sports. I thought I was gonna be the next Messi.
Okay.
Bro, I'm not Messi. No.
So you play soccer?
I played soccer, yeah, and then I played football and basketball and stuff like that. Just tried to always stay active, but it got to the point where before I was 9, it was just mainly sports, but then I had to make that jump from sports and acting. I had to kind of pick,
Well, I mean, so what age you became an actor? What, 9?
At 9, yep.
Talk about that. How did that come about? What was that process like from being a regular kid? Now I'm an actor. How did that go? Talk about it.
It started when my mom and dad just sat me down one day, and they just had this company in Vegas that they were if you had extra energy and a kid, bring them over. They could take some classes. We do acting, and it really wasn't something that I initially knew that I wanted to do, but I'd always take my mom's phone and record videos. I'd be a game show host with my friends. So, I always had something for it, but we just never knew the avenue to take it down.
Okay.
And then so we finally went. They liked it, and so I started taking some classes, and then they brought in some agencies. I didn't get the first few agencies at first, but then eventually I got one, and then
Let's talk about that for a second, because that's the point of grade school media. We students of the game, and so sometimes, it might be inspiring, aspiring actors or actresses that don't really know how this process goes. It might be different now, but talk about that process. You pretty much you had to you were discovered by going through acting classes. So do you have to take acting classes to get an agent? Because that's the name of the game now. Like if you don't have an agent, you're pretty much not gonna get no gigs. So talk about that part of getting an agent and the things you got to go through.
Well, in terms of getting an agent, they were very, very nice, and they were like blessed to be able to get agents to come in. So we were able to like audition for the agents.
Okay.
Like they bring them in like one every like 2 weeks or something like that, and you would just kind of have like a monologue or a commercial or something like that, and then that was the whole point of the classes, was like to perfect those monologues and the commercials to where like they noticed and they were like, oh, there's something we could do with this person.
Okay.
And then
What was your first actual gig? Was it Disney, or was there previous work before that?
I believe my first ever gig was Disney, but it was like something like I've never seen it. It was like it was like a commercial or something. Like I literally couldn't even tell you. Like I was so young. I think I was like 10
Okay.
with my mom, but it was like some thing that they just shot. It was called like Philmarnic, like
Okay.
PHILHARMONIC, something like that.
Yeah. So at what age did Walk the Prank come about?
Well, the prank came about in 2015. We shot the pilot. So I was 12, and then we shot season 1 when I was 13, season 2, 14, and 15. So like my young teenage years were on Walk the Prank.
Okay, nice. Talk about the set life, and I'm gonna give you my experience, because it was really different. I had never been in Hollywood before, so talk about just your experience on set. Just kind of like the day-to-day things that you had to go through as an actor. It's different kids on set, it's different production teams. Just talk about the vibe surrounding that. Just what life is like on set, I guess.
Yeah. Bro, set was so much fun. Oh my gosh. Bro, it was literally the most fun 3 years of my life.
Yeah.
Like I have nothing but good things to say about Walk the Prank. I mean, you were on it, so I mean you probably like got to experience it and all that.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I want to hear I've never really heard the other side of like the prank.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But man, you just get up at like 7 a.m., be on set, and then you get like breakfast in the morning. We had Crafty, like where they have like professional chefs make food. Oh my God, bro, it was so good. Like I'm foaming at the mouth right now just thinking about it, man.
Yeah.
And then you would just do some school, because obviously we were young, so we had to like do a whole bunch of school. We were just doing online school. And then
Talk about that part. I always ask, the actors that come on here, that part. I mean, you being a young kid, 12 years old, going into your teenage years, how are you managing school and managing being an actor on TV? Because it's different. You're like putting in twice the work as an adult would, and you're a kid. So talk about that.
yeah. Man, it's crazy. I was so cooked. So cooked when it came to online school. I mean, it's definitely different because I don't feel you're as immersed in online school versus physical. So I didn't feel like I really learned as much. But I was also super duper busy, like filming a show, maintaining like a social life, like family, like all types of stuff. So it was a little bit of like downhill from there, but I just needed to apply myself, really. That's what really needed to happen. But it was cool. We did like 3 to 5 hours of school every day. We'd be like in the same room. So like we had like classmates, but they were like our cast members, some like guest stars maybe. And then, yeah. So we became like a really close family, because I mean, we're surrounded all day with each other,
Okay. I'm a jump in here and tell you my experience, and you can kind of so like I said, my homie, he called me and he's like, yo, can you do it? Whatever. So I get to California and he tell me what to wear. I forgot. I think I wore like a black jacket, plain shirt, whatever. And he drives me to the set. He's cool with the casting director. So he picks me up and drives me to the set. And he like, all right, look, first we in a Ralph's parking lot somewhere in Pasadena. He like, look, when we pull up to the house, you're going to be on camera. As soon as you open the door, get out the car, you're on camera. So just know that. Like, when you walk up to the door and knock, you're on camera. They're recording you. I'm like, okay. And so I already knew. They kind of gave me the rundown. This is the dopest part of this, though. Like, because I'm like, I've never been an actor before. I've never been on set. I've never seen Hollywood cameras before. Like, this, my heart was racing. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this is what I asked for. This is crazy. I get in there. And literally, like, the cast, it's almost like you guys, the kids, y'all were like the directors for us, like the people that we were pranking. Because, I mean, people don't see that part on TV, but, I was on the WWE edition, too. That was another thing, too. That was really dope. That's why I'm like, man, I wish I could find an episode. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. But basically, they kind of gave me the rundown of what would happen during the episode. And I knew what would happen, but I still was, like, kind of like, And so... the kids at the time, Brandon Servers, and who was the other one?
Yeah, Brandon Severs and then Bryce
Severs.
Geyser.
Guys,
Yeah.
okay, so
Yeah.
I had those two on set with me, and Brandon was kind of like the main one that was directing me. Like, all right, we're gonna talk trash to this machine. It was a big arm wrestling machine in the middle of the floor, and they was like, "Yo, you just play this game with the kids, and you play it and try to outpower it." Of course, we couldn't outpower it, so Brandon would be the one. Like, I guess they cut it, and Brandon would be like, "Hey, we just gonna talk trash to the machine now. We're gonna try to beat them. We're gonna kick the machine out." And while we doing all that stuff, that's when my wrestler was Big E Langston. He pops out of the side of the machine. I jump. I'm like, oh, like, and it was a real response. And all the camera crews, everybody came out laughing. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. But great experience for somebody like me from Raleigh, North Carolina, the south side of Raleigh, North Carolina. We don't really have many opportunities like that to even say we was on Disney. And having you here sitting with me right now just to confirm the story, because some people, I haven't seen the episode, maybe some people have seen it or maybe it didn't air, but some people might not, hey, you say that, we ain't really, they don't believe you or whatever. So
right.
Dope experience, man. Dope experience. Talk about your time with the WWE episode. Those were special. I'm glad to be a part of that.
Yeah, it was cool, man. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Have you tried looking it up on YouTube?
I haven't. I see the WWE editions, but the episode that I had, like the script, it looks like they changed it and they moved the wrestler. And Big E Langston had a whole nother scene, and then the scene that I had where he popped out the side of the machine, Sting, actually, that's the one that they aired on TV with Sting. So I'm not even sure if they aired the one with Big E Langston, but I showed you the backdrop, man. It was, man, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about your experience though with those special edition type episodes like WWE, for instance.
But that's always when it was like the most fun because, well, first of all, when we have like celebrities and like other people who are like of like big influence pranking with us, we're usually on location, like away from our set, because we'd spend like half our time on set and then half our time like on location. That to me was the most fun part. That's when I knew we were pranking, especially with like a night prank. Oh my God.
Talk about that though. Like, so of course it's a TV show,
right?
But with the pranks, are they already scripted? Are they wrote out for you guys, or do they let you guys like freestyle some of them? Like, how did that work?
Well, with a lot of the pranks, sometimes they would, but we mainly had like a set like set of points that we wanted to hit throughout the prank. Like we knew we wanted to do this, wanted to do that. We were gonna say this, but some things would just kind of just happen. Like whether it depended on like what the person did. Like if the person was acting a little bit irrationally, like we might change up something, or if they're like really into it, we might just like amp it up, do it even more, so it really just depended on like the person, but we mainly had like a row that we were just going down.
Yeah, talk like how involved were your parents? I know you said your dad was military. How involved were your parents at that time, especially being on a show like Disney? Like, were they around, or did you have chaperones, or how did that work?
Great question. Oh my gosh, man, I'm loving this. This is awesome. Yeah, my dad was military, and he was the one who was mainly out there with me in LA. And he was like super duper protective. Like he wanted to make sure that like nothing, especially because I was such at a young age.
Yeah.
He would just be very protective, like a little overprotective. But he was a great guy, and he always had my back.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I never felt like I was ever like on danger, especially when we had like other pranks. Like we'd be in a mall, for example, and we had this one prank where someone brought in their laptop to get it fixed. And like I just absolutely crash out, and I take it and I throw it against a wall, and it breaks in half. And the bro was like, "What's up?" And he was like trying to like square up, and I was like, "Oh no, this guy doesn't get it. Like it's a prank."
Yeah.
But then my dad was just like out like next to the door, and he's like making sure I'm all good. And I was like, ah.
That's amazing. I asked every actor to come on here about their parents' involvement, and shout out to Shar Jackson. We just made People's Magazine the other day, so that interview we doing our thing. But like I asked her and a few other actors, like, yo, what's the difference and what is it like having your parents involved and being like that? Because how she explained it, sometimes when your parents not involved, or if they are involved, you have two different type of parents. You have the parents who want to be celebrities with the kid, and then you have the parents that are just parents. And so it sounds like you just had the parents and your dad was standing on business, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was just kind of doing like his own thing. And then like sometimes my mom would come out, and then like, oh my gosh, like they love my mama, but you know how moms are. Like everyone loves mamas. And then my grandma was out there for a little bit too. So it was kind of like a team effort to get me out there, because I mean it takes a lot. Like a parent has to be there with you full time. Like my dad had to retire from the military.
Oh wow.
Like and so like it was like a big step, and like but now he's still doing military. He can't ever stop working. Yeah. But yeah, I mean he had to take that time off to be with me out there. So I mean it was cool, and we got to like bond. I mean I'm with my dad like those 3 years. I mean
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun time, man.
What do you have a favorite episode that you filmed of Walk the Prank? Or maybe a favorite prank? Maybe they're like, man, that was dope. Like,
for sure. We have I have two that stick out to me for sure.
okay.
It's the candy heist prank. The one where like we went into the mall and we like stole all the candy. It's like something straight out of like Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
We had this girl come from the ceiling, like down on some wires, then go back up. Like we were taking stuff and we were dumping it in this giant like tube. Brandon had like a backpack and was sucking up candy. Oh my God, it was so funny. It was just so extra, like everything that you would think in like a movie.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, not to cut you off. I mean, when I watch the show now and looking at it from my perspective, I'm like, man, that show had to have had a crazy budget with the props that they had, the locations. Like, I don't know, man. But go ahead, my bad.
No, you're good. No, it was nuts. And then all the different locations, like we had so many. Like you'd be like, man, how are we affording this?
Yeah.
Talk
about real quick. So the location that I was saying, like Pasadena, when y'all were like filming in the house and the babysitter come over, was it always that look, or did y'all switch up housing locations?
Pretty much switch up like every house location, you know.
Yeah.
I think just in case like we pranked someone and they were like, you know what, I'm gonna get my lick back, and they like get in the area. It's like, bro, no, it's never that serious.
Yeah. Okay. What about some of the kids that you were on set with back then? You guys are older now, so do you still communicate? Are y'all cool? Do y'all talk at all? How does that go now, years later after the show?
Bro, it's so funny that you mentioned that because I actually just sent them like a text like 2 weeks ago about like I was like, I'm in LA because usually we're not all in LA to like hang out and like grab food.
Yeah.
I was like, but I'm here, so like let me know, and then I think we'll get some like figured out in like a few weeks. But everyone just lives in different places, you know. Like Bryce lives in Texas and LA.
Okay.
Jill lives in LA and then Pennsylvania, and then Brandon I think was in Vegas with me, but I think he's in LA now. So and then Toby's in LA. So
talk about just what was your experience like dealing with, and I'm asking this from a perspective of the outside looking in, working with Disney specifically. Like, okay, we don't Walk the Prank, but talking about the execs around Disney, like how are they? Because, you know, you hear outside noise, you hear good stuff, you hear bad stuff. What was your experience dealing with just, oh man, I work for Disney? Or, oh, what was your dad's response to, oh, my kid works for Disney? How was that?
Bro, it was so beautiful. Bro, I've got literally nothing but nice things to say about Disney and Nickelodeon for like both the companies that I worked with, bro. Like they just, at least with my experience, like I can't speak for everyone else.
No, for sure.
I mean, obviously you've like heard about like bad experiences, good experiences, but bro, they were so nice, and we were so young too. Like they didn't need to be all that nice, but I mean, they almost were too nice to us. Like, man, it was like the perfect environment in terms of everyone.
What gigs did you work on Nickelodeon? I have a Nickelodeon holds a special place in my heart. Before you go, like, man, when I was a kid, and shout out to my mom. My mom was the one that called me and told me about the People's magazine too. So shout out to my mom. She paying attention. But when we were kids, my mom took me, my brother, sister, cousin, my nana came too, and we went to Universal Studios in Florida. And at the time, it was around 2001, maybe 2002. I was about 8 or 9 years old, and Nickelodeon was a big deal then. Like, I mean, like from Kenan and Kel, all that, SpongeBob, Rocket Power. It was a whole bunch of stuff. Like, and when we went, just the whole Nickelodeon experience. We went to Slime Time Live, Double Dare. I mean, just getting slimed as a kid, been on some of those TV shows. And now when I fast forward, I'm 31 years old, but I fast forward and I look at nostalgic type content on Nickelodeon and how they closed Nickelodeon studios. Like, I'm one of those people that's super fascinated with Nickelodeon. Like, what gig did you have with Nickelodeon? What shows did you do?
Bro, I'm about to tell you a story that literally, like, I haven't told anyone else publicly, bro. It's so nuts. Little embarrassing, but it's something you gotta, like, learn from.
Exclusive.
I feel like it would, like, help out, like, actors and actresses out there. When I was, like, 11, I think it was, like, 11-ish, I auditioned for Nikki, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn. But I auditioned for Nikki. So, like, one of, like, the main, like, quadruplets of the show. And then, like, the first audition went super duper good. The next audition went really, really well as well. And then it was just the third audition. I don't know what it was about it. Or maybe it was the second audition. But all I know is that, like, when I came back, they had me, like, doing, like, the script. And I thought I was doing awesome. And then the director was just like, hey, can you do it this way? And so we just did it this way. And then he was like, okay, can you just do it this way now? And then in my mind, I'm so young. And it was the first time I'd ever gotten to, like, like a super like big callback. That's why I think it's like the third audition. Cause I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm really close to booking like my first like really big project. And then I don't know what it was, what the director said, but I choked up in the moment. I started crying. I was like, oh my God, you can't sell like this. What are you doing? Lock in. And then, but then I finished up the audition, but what was already done was already done. It was like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing for real? And then, but you learn from those moments, you know, that you've got to be ready for those moments. And then luckily I was like so good with like the casting director and then the people involved and the other actors that they wanted me to be a guest star role. So that was nice, you know, even though like we weren't able to get to that like spot, you have to learn from that. You have to be like, look, like it's gonna be a pressure, and it's not even like they wanted me to do it differently because I was doing it wrong. They just wanted to see if I could do it a different way, like just see if they could do it a little bit funnier, a little bit more serious. And man, it was just a little bit too much. But something you got to go through those trials and tribulations. Because if I was to get Nikki, Ricky, Dicky, and Dawn, I would have never got Walk the Prank. You know, so I just kind of think it's like God's blessing in like disguise.
It is.
But it's just, but in case anyone goes like, listen, it could get bad. You could be at the top, you're about to get it, and then cry. Oh my God. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
You had to go through that. It molded you. So was that the only Nickelodeon gig you booked at the time? Or was there, how many gigs did you? Okay. So talk about you did Walk the Prank, what, 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
So from what, 12 to 15 or 16?
From 2015.
Well,
from my age, 12 to 15.
So how, talk about the feeling of, man, I love this show. I'm coming here every day. This is my life, to knowing that it's ending. Like, talk about that feeling. How did you deal with that at that age?
Man, I was just so in love with the moment and with everybody involved. I mean, it's your family after 3 years, you know? So to me, I almost couldn't believe that it was ending. Like, I was like, oh, we'll be back next year. Because you never know, because like there's always the chance of a season 4, but we were pretty much told for like season 3, like it'll be season 3. But the fact that we even got to 3 seasons was awesome, because Disney had a prank show back in the day. It was 1 season, which by the way, I thought it was really, really cool. Like, I don't know how it didn't go more than 1 season, but just the ability for us to go more than 1 season and push 3, I thought it just spoke to like how amazing we were as like cast members, the people involved. Trevor Moore, the late and great Trevor Moore. Oh, love that guy. And then Adam Small, they were able to create like one of the best shows ever. And they were so funny and so creative. Oh, like people don't even know, man.
Talk about what did you book any gigs immediately after that, or did kind of like how did the transition go after Walk the Prank was over? Like, what was going on then at your life at that time?
So after Walk the Prank, I was a freshman in high school. So, well, actually, I think it was either the end of my 8th grade or like the beginning of my 9th grade year. And my brother's a year younger than me. So when I was a freshman, he was an 8th grader. And then so going into his next year, Walk the Prank had finished. They were like, you know what? We're all done. I had nothing like concrete set up next. I was like, you know what? Let me try high school. So I wanted to try out high school with my brother, because I was like, you know what? He's going to be a freshman. I'm going to be a sophomore. Even though I didn't get there my freshman year, I want to try out high school, like the actual, because I'd done online school for so long. So it was like I need to experience that. And then, bro, it was so much fun. But it was weird though, because like my first, like we went to the school, because we were picking out what school we wanted to go to.
Yeah.
And then I flicked up in front of it with my brother, and I posted on my Instagram, and I was like, yo, I'm going to be coming to Arborview. And then so many, like I had like 100 comments were like, bro, I'm going to hit you if I ever see you. And they're like, man, I do not want to see you in my hallways. I'm like, what? I was like, yo, y'all are, they're like, we don't need an annoying freshman. I was like, I'm not even a freshman. But it was like, what? But then so many people were so nice and like loving, but it was, man, you just needed to experience that. I don't know, because
I mean, that's dope. Not to cut you. That's dope that you saying that, because most people get involved, kids or whatever. You grow up and then you in this industry, you have this aura about yourself, like you're not a regular person or you can't do regular stuff. But the fact that you wanted to try high school out and experience that, that's dope in itself. I mean, talk about your first day walking in there. Like, was it like were people fans and people notice you? Like, how did that go? How was school life once you like your sophomore year?
Bro, it was honestly so cool. It was just so interesting because I knew nobody. Yeah. Like I went to middle school in Vegas, but it was like a middle school. It was like a charter school, and there was a lot of public schools that like fed into the high school. So like I really knew no one that was there besides like my brother, really. And then so it was just like I had to meet new people, but people were very welcoming. And then it didn't really take long for people to be like, oh my gosh, is that guy on? Oh my, and then it just like clicked, and then bro, people were just so nice. Some people weren't that nice,
Yeah.
but most people were really, really nice. High school was a good vibe, man.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
So right now we fast forward, we in 2024. What are you working on now? What's Cody up to now these days? Like what's on tabs for you? I mean, you like I said, I looked up this morning, you 21 now. So where's life headed for you right now? What's going on?
Bro, it's so crazy that you mentioned that I'm 21. I can't even believe some days that I'm 21. My brothers are like barely younger than me, and they're like, you're getting up there, Unc. I'm 21. What are we talking about? I'm so young.
Yeah, well, you can drink now. If
I
you just
can.
if you know.
Most definitely. Oh, yeah, it definitely opens up a lot more doors for sure. And then but it's interesting because I'm 21. So like I figure like I gotta play a bunch of like 20-year-olds now, like when I'm acting. The past 2 roles that I've gotten on a Disney show and a Nickelodeon show, I played a 15-year-old. Like,
man, you still
like both
look
times.
young. You still look young. Again, I didn't know you were 21. I had to Google it and like because I wanted to mention that. But let's talk about the current gigs. What were the last couple of gigs that you did on Disney and Nickelodeon?
So on Nickelodeon, it was called Aaron and Aaron.
Okay,
and it's about the show about these siblings, Aaron and Aaron.
Yeah.
And then I pretty much played like a football jock, and I actually did it with Brandon from Walk the Prank.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think I did see that. I seen some clips from that show.
Yeah, yeah, it was super cool. And then we got to like be like football players, and we wore like chipmunk costumes, bro. It was honestly such a cool vibe.
That's what's up.
And then on Disney, I did a show called Just Roll With It, and those were actually the creators of Walk the Prank. Like after they had done Walk the Prank, they had transitioned to Just Roll With It, and so it was so nice to be able to like go on that show and just see them again.
What year was that show?
2019, 2020.
Okay,
Something
before the
like
pandemic.
Yeah, before the
Okay,
pandemic.
okay.
Actually, it might have been during the pandemic. We might have had masks when I was filming it. If I looked at my phone, I could tell you, but it was somewhere around that time.
Okay.
Well, the pandemic is so crazy thinking about that.
Man.
That's a real thing that happened.
Yeah,
What?
we really were locked in the house. We really had to wear masks. We were really controlled. Like it was, but when you look back on it, like not to get off track, but when you look back on the pandemic and then you look at some of the crazy stuff that's going on in the world, I'm like, man, maybe we needed that. Like a reset just for a little, everybody stay home, not so much crime going on, whatever. But man, you look back on it, like, yeah, we really went through that. Like,
Yeah.
and, some people conspiracy theories, whatever, but people were actually getting sick and dying. So, man, if you lost a family member, man, rest in peace.
Yeah.
So look, back to the question. So it's like I said, it's 2024 now. Like, what are you up to now? Like, what's next for Cody? Are you still into the acting? Are you doing music now? Are you doing your own podcast? Like, what's going on now?
I love that you mentioned that, man. I'm actually about to start my own podcast, and I'm about to start streaming.
Okay.
Because I like to think about it like, what do I want in my future? Like what do I want to look back on? And I don't know, man. It kind of just goes back to like, especially when I'm on like Snapchat, because I'm really not on Snapchat like that at all.
Okay.
But I love when you can look at like the past memories, like a year ago today, 2 years ago today, and being able to like look back and just live in those moments. It makes me want to stream and put out like content just to be able to look at what I was doing when I was 21. Like I didn't really put out a lot of content when I was 20, when I was 19, and it's like, what was I really doing in that time? Like I feel like it's just something cool to look back on, and then you can make money.
Yeah.
You don't realize how much money you can make off of like social media and stuff like that. And then like quarantine like opened up the door for like podcasts and like streaming and like a whole bunch of like online content. So I think it was a really good thing that quarantine happened, honestly.
Yeah. Talk about and some of this stuff. People are. I try to ask these questions the right way because, of course, we don't want to talk about our personal stuff. But when you look at actors that are on TV, and it's 2024 now, but you might see an episode of Walk the Prank, or it might be a marathon coming on TV currently, and people are watching it. Do you still get paid from that? Do you still get paid, or is it? Because I know when I did, for instance, I can tell my business when I did Disney, it was a set price, and I'm not gonna say the set price, but it was a set price. You get paid for this time of being here, and that's it. And not literally, if I say the price, and then I was on set for 15, 20 minutes, so you can't beat it. Like it's just like, okay, I just made that in 15, 20 minutes, whatever.
Right.
But do you still get paid when the stuff airs, or is it kind of like a one?
Yeah, still get paid residuals. It's not as crazy as it was in like 16, 17, 18, 19. But yeah, still get residuals.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So when you say you're gonna start streaming, what type of streaming? Like, is it video games? Are you gonna be doing pranks, or like, do you have an idea what type of streamer you're gonna be? Like, cause I look at your Instagram and people follow you. Like, you still got fans. People still want to see what you're up to next. So like, what type of streaming?
I want to try a lot of like IRL streaming, a lot of like video games. A lot of my friends and like family members play games, but they're super duper funny. Like I feel like that's just automatic content.
Yeah.
But then like in real life stuff, that's where I feel like a lot of my content will flourish. Like I feel like I just got that like vibe with people and just able to like talk to people, you know? And then a lot of people are inside. Like you can always make content in your house. Like that's just how I think. Like everyone's like got the house they can make content in.
Yeah.
But what are you doing outside of it though? You know?
Yeah, I always think of, because I had this vision in my head once I realized I was interviewing you. I always compare Walk the Prank because a lot of people don't know what it is. Like in my age group, unless I tell them, I'm like, man, Walk the Prank is like the kid version of the show Punk'd with Ashton Kutcher.
Right.
And so now when I fast forward, I'm interviewing you. I'm like, man, your content is gonna go up, of course, if you got followers. But man, if you do some little side pranks or prank phone calls, like people can be like, oh wow, Cody's older and he's still at it. Like so,
yeah,
that might make people pay attention now too. But
I love that idea. I love that. I'm gonna definitely do some pranks.
Yeah, you should.
I love that.
You should. But just to close out, man, is there anything else that you want the people to know about you? What's next for you, or any shout outs, social media, etc.?
Shout out to my friends. Shout out to all my people in Vegas, LA. Shout out to the flag football team that I coach. W's, oh my God, we went to the championship. And we were up 18-0. And then we lost. Oh my God.
You say you're a coach though?
Yeah, but I was coach. I love them kids. Oh my gosh, they're amazing, man. They're super duper cool. And
what's the name of the team?
Quest Knights.
Okay, Quest Knights in Vegas.
In Vegas. Yeah, they're super duper cool, man.
Okay.
It's dope. But yeah, shout out to my friends. Shout out to my family. I'm going to start streaming soon. More podcasts. You guys are going to see my face more. I appreciate you, Tony, man.
Thank you, man. Grade School Media. This is Tony Ray, and I got
Cody Veith.
Thank y'all, man. It's Grade School Media.